see in these pictures is that building that's right back there. And if you look out these windows, if you go into the parking lot, you can see it right there. It's a big, beautiful building. It's currently an office building. And so as soon as we get our charter on the 18th and on the 20th of April, we close and begin renovation on that first floor, turning that office space into classroom space, widening the hallways and doing some other things that the state requires of a school that they don't require for adults in an office. And one of those things that we are doing is we are securing those entrances. And so there will be video surveillance of all of the entrances to the school. And for the main entrance, where you would expect visitors, parents to arrive, it will be locked off, and there will be a window where our office staff can converse with someone through that window and then unlock the door for them to come in. You're welcome. Yes.
For the younger ones, is there going to be a playground for outside play?
Yeah, great question. The question, will there be a playground for the young ones? Absolutely. In fact, Colorado state law requires us to have a playground. It requires us to have a special playground for kindergartners even. And so you can see on a couple of these diagrams where the playground is marked out, and that's a diagram from several months ago. We've adjusted that just a little bit and expanded. Really what we've done is expand where that playground is going to be. And so we've got a lot of great playground space for all of our elementary students. Yes, ma'am.
How are you going to handle tutoring? Will you guys provide tutoring?
So the question is, will we provide tutoring? And I'm going to... yeah, go ahead.
So I've been working on the budget, so I can answer that from the operational side of it. Yeah, we have included in the budget a paraprofessional for each classroom. Now, that assumes full enrollment, which we anticipate actually based on the demand that will exceed our budgeted enrollment. So assuming that enrollment happens, each class will actually have a paraprofessional. Each teacher would have in the elementary, K through 5. And so it'll be handled there. The after school, before and after school programs will have a combination tutoring and play component. And so there could be there. And then, you know, at different times we're going to have reading teachers and others that would be able to provide targeted assistance. So, you know, how much, the reading teacher may not be there in the first week until we identify how many students are going to need that kind of support, but we'll be bringing in other specialists and support as we determine the need to be there.
One of our kindergartners just built a satellite over here. It's pretty cool. Yes, ma'am.
Taken care of as far as paraprofessional. What about 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th?
Okay, so the question is tutoring and extra help for the middle and high schoolers. Yeah.
So they could have, a student could have a study hall as their assignment. Not every student would typically have that, but they'll have 7 periods. So typically they have 4 core subjects and 3 electives. So it could be, rather than having Spanish or something, that a student could decide that they need study hall in order to get some extra assistance. So that would be one option. I have built into the budget a couple extra paraprofessionals beyond just the elementary, knowing that if science teacher is doing a lab, it's good to have a second adult in there. You know, things like that. So, and again, our first year budget's always the tightest, and then it gets a little bit better after that. So there's more unassigned paraprofessionals in the budget for subsequent years, but there's a couple of them in the first year to assist.
Yes, sir.
So building on the tutoring question, have you guys considered some sort of volunteer tutoring program?
So the question is, have we considered a volunteer tutoring program? And I would say that is absolutely something that we will implement. Yeah, so as Ken opened up with, we want volunteers, we want parent and community involvement in our school, and so yes, that's absolutely something that will be a part of this school. Yes, ma'am.
If a child has an IEP, will you be able to provide them the same accommodations that they're getting now?
Right, so the question is about students with an IEP, an individualized education plan, and yes, absolutely, we will take students with IEPs.
Will you guys have a distance talent program?
So the question is, will we have a gifted and talented program? And yes, we will. We will have the full spectrum. We'll be able to take and properly educate special education students, and on the other spectrum, we'll be able to provide an appropriate level of training for the talented and gifted. And this curriculum that Angela talked about, the Pearson online tech-focused curriculum, allows teachers to kind of individualize many of the lesson plans that will help facilitate those sorts of things.
Let me jump in
on go ahead.
Gifted real quick. So the other way, so he's talking about within the classroom, teachers can individualize. One of our plans is to help our high school students get college credits while they're still in high school. So the gifted students, or any student, can start taking some college level courses while they're still in high school at no cost to the student. We also, one of the advantages of being K through 12 is we will probably have some 7th and 8th graders who are taking like high school algebra, etc. So that's another way that we'll be working with the students. So it's within the classroom. It can be their class assignment, their course assignment, by having students working on some of their areas above grade level. And then in the project base, it's also an opportunity for the gifted kids to select projects that are definitely of interest to them, and they can go above and beyond, the typical expectations.
Thanks, Ken. Yes, ma'am.
What is the max class size? What's it going to cap out? 25,
So our goal is 20. We decided on a class size thing?
The charter does not promise a maximum class size. Physically, the size of the rooms that we're working with, it's probably 25 is the maximum because we have the size of rooms. With a paraprofessional in there, it's on the K through 5. It's the cap size. I mean, even if you have 28, if you have 2 adults in there, that's 14 to 1 ratio. So I wouldn't be too worried at it there. But I don't think we have any classes there that can be over 30. So we don't have to worry about that. I know some of the high school classes will get over 30 in some of the local schools and stuff. But no, I did budget at 24 for the class sizes. We started out at 20, but as we developed and needed to add in paraprofessionals and needed to add in, the technology and everything else, it kind of got bumped up to 24. The good news about charter schools is that there's an accountability committee that involves parents, but also parents are involved in a lot of ways. So if ever there's a concern about class sizes or whatever, parents are definitely part of the decision process, and charter school boards tend to listen a lot to parents when they start raising issues like that.
Ma'am. So the question is, do we plan on a summer program, a summer enrichment, or a summer school program? That is something that we are talking about, but we have not yet made a decision on that. Oh, yeah, Lee, go ahead, please.
Yes. Just so you know, in the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Program, there are a number of summer encampments that young people can participate in that are extremely enriching. We have over 16 glider schools, 16 fixed-wing schools that are, somewhere in the country. We have a lot of opportunities right here in Colorado. We have a Space Command familiarization course that's actually held out here at Peterson. And then I have great connections with Wings Over the Rockies. They have developed a space program and other, kind of aviation-type camps, and we can certainly tap into that.
Yeah, let me add on to that just a little bit. And so as I mentioned, I've got a son who's a Civil Air Patrol cadet, and he was so excited to do his encampment. He didn't want to wait for the summer to do the one at the Air Force Academy. He gave up a week of his Christmas break to go to Fort Riley, Kansas, and do the winter encampment at Fort Riley, Kansas. And so that's how motivating this is and how exciting it is, this program that we have for the cadets. And then what that's done is that's opened up other programs for him this summer. And so one of the programs that he's now an alternate for is I don't know how they do it, they've got like a mini PJ course, a pararescue jumper course down at Kirtland. And he's going to go, hopefully he'll move from the alternate stage up to the selected stage and get to go to Albuquerque, New Mexico, to the Air Force Base there, and get to do some pararescue jumper training with the folks down there. So just a lot of great enriching opportunities. Let me go in the back first. I saw that hand first.
My question is for Colonel. You spoke of the summer camps and whatnot through the aeronauticals and all that stuff. Is there going to be anything like that for younger grades, for like elementary and all that stuff?
Yes, that's why I mentioned the Wings Over the Rockies, because their camps are all for elementary age. And so, you know, obviously I'm concerned about families taking children all the way up to Denver. So I've already been coordinating with the World War II Aviation Museum, and we're developing, you know, a summer program that we can offer there, so that'll be more wonderful. And we'll keep you all abreast as to those developments.
Yeah, I think over time we will, talking to Angela, we will offer summer camps, you know, like a technology camp, a STEM camp, science camp, you know, robotics. It just won't happen this summer before the first year, but there should be those type of, you know, 2-week camps type, or maybe longer after the first summer here.
Yes, ma'am.
I saw that the full day cost money. Is there going to be like financial aid for that?
The question was about the full-day kindergarten. So for those who don't know, the standard, excuse me, the standard is half-day kindergarten, and then there is an option at a cost for a full-day kindergarten. And so the question was, will there be some financial aid associated with that? And so yes, for those who are on free and reduced lunch program, we would look at some scholarships for those folks.
I've got that worked into the budget. Every question has a budget aspect.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
Will you have a cafeteria where they're cooking, or a cafeteria where they're microwaving, you know, heating up catered food?
So the question was our cafeteria, what style of cafeteria will it be? And we are going to open in August with what's called a warming kitchen that is ready to become a prep kitchen. And we are going to work as soon as possible. And if we can find some savings in some other areas, within a month or two after opening will be a full prep kitchen. But as I said, opening as a warming and then moving to a prep kitchen as soon as we can. Don, can you talk a little more detail on what that means in terms of the food policy?
Yeah, right now, so up to 2 weeks ago, we were working with Falcon 49 to prepare our food for us. And so I have a meeting next week with District 11. We can also go out to a private vendor. But right now, the assumption is we'll start the first year with District 11 providing our food services. District 11 provides food services for some of the CSI schools that are located in District 11. So this is nothing unusual for them. It was very nice of them at this last minute to include us in. So typically a warming, what it means is that the food will be prepared in one of their other kitchens and then we transported. The temperature will have to be maintained according to health code at a certain temperature. What it typically means is in the school it's being prepared in, they might have 2 entrees they can pick from. We'll end up with just one. They'll make it, ahead of time. Kids will sign up. Yes, I'm having food, the hot food, whatever the lunch item is, and that's what they'll be getting. Is if it's chili, then they get the chili and the cornbread or whatever the option is for the day. In Falcon 49, they also had a salad bar. So besides their entree, the kids got to pick which salad item that they wanted. And I know, having been in schools for a long time, not everybody's happy with school food. So my goal is, over this first year, we will get a parent committee involved in planning what we're going to do for food in the future. You can prepare it yourself. We can prepare it, and we can hire, and basically same cost, just do it ourselves. This first year, there's so many things we have to do to get the facility open that I'm happy to have somebody else who's done it many times before just handle the food services for the first year. and we'll focus on the many other things that we need to focus on. So if the food's not to your child's liking in the first year, join the committee that will help define it for the future. And anybody can bring a sack lunch, you know, at any point in time. So, but we will be a part of the free and reduced meal program.
Boston Red Sox.
And given the long-term plan of having a genuine K-12 environment in one building, is there an intent to segregate kids based on age groups or grade groups or anything like that to keep, for example, a second grader and a senior from colliding?
Yeah, that's a great question, and so that everybody can hear that. The question was, are we going to have some separation since we'll have K through 12 in one building? Will there be some separation of the grades? Yes, absolutely. And so even in the first year, K through 9, all being on one floor, the elementary is going to be on the west side of the building, and the 6th through 9th graders will be on the east side of the building. And then as we open up in the second year, when we open up the second floor, the middle and high schoolers will move up to the second floor. So we'll have that separation. We'll make sure that we have that appropriate separation in the cafeteria, of course. And yes, we agree absolutely. You need to keep, you need to keep the age groups together, for sure. Yes.
How do you handle wandering children?
How do we handle wandering?
Wandering children.
Wandering children. Well, they shouldn't be wandering, first of all. So I will turn this over to our experienced professional academics. But this is a military school, and so they're going to be expected to be in line and following those. And our staff is going to be doing a good job of keeping an eye on the students as well. You guys have anything to add?
I'll start with the facility design. We do have doors that, they're glass doors in the hallways that keep the elementary in the elementary wing, except when the teacher leads them into other areas. But you can see it's kind of a U shape there, so there's not too many places for kids to wander to. And so, I don't think they're going to wander too far in the design that we've got there. Same thing on the west, on the secondary wing. There's going to be glass doors that kind of contain them there, except when they're approved to come out, such as to the cafeteria, etc.
Will they be able to get off campus on their own?
No, we will be a closed campus. As far as policy, can a student violate any policy? Yeah, they can try.
We do have a fence. And the back fence is the military base. I don't think the military base will let any of the kids on it.
So they can walk off, but it's unlikely it'll happen. We do have the camera system, surveillance system on both the inside and outside of the school.
Go back here in the pink.
Have you settled on the hours for the school?
Right. So the question is about the school hours. I'm blanking off the top of my head. I know it starts a little after 8. But
yeah. So in the traffic study that we submitted to the county, we worked with the traffic engineers, and the challenge was this stoplight out here at the corner that the traffic backs up to get on base out here. So they told us we had to start after 8 a.m. So we submitted to the county about a week ago our traffic plan, along with this official study. 8:10, 10 after 8 is when the secondary, grade 6 and above, will start. And then 8:30 will be when the elementary starts. So we understand that some families will have both age groups in the same car. So we'll have supervision in the cafeteria for the elementary who get there, 20 minutes early. Besides those who are there an hour and a half early, we have the before and after school care for them. And then the end of the day, it reverses itself. Elementary gets out first, and then secondary gets out at 3:45, I think. So it should be on our website. There's a tab that says FAQ for frequently asked questions. If it's not on there, I'll make sure that it gets on there. But we've got our beginning and ending times on the website.
Sir.
Back to security, where the main building is at, is there a fence going all the way around the facility other than the Peterson fence? And are we going to use the gate? We're going to code or card code into the gate, into that main building?
So there is a fence, I believe that there's fence everywhere except for the roadways leading in.
Yeah.
There's a fence, and at this time, we're we're not planning on putting gates across there.
And there won't be any coded. The main entrance will be from this frontage road along here. There's an entrance to our driveway just past the hotel there. And it's a very long driveway, which worked very well for the pickup and drop-off. And again, on the traffic study, they said, you know, we've got such a long area to work with, and we've got a circular around the building, that we were not going to impact the traffic out on the road, which we're not going to use this gate here right off. No, there's only a one-way, there's a median, and so to come in on the west side, you would actually have to go into Peterson Air Force Base and do a U-turn, and some people have done that by mistake, which delays you substantially, and they won't appreciate that. So the main entrance here and the main exit will still be over there, is where our typical traffic pattern. We'll have a traffic map handout that we'll give to everybody to show. There'll be like a double lane, and there'll be, you know, staff will be standing there. You'll have a number, you know, like family 130 or whatever, and then that'll be projected into the school, and then by the time you get to the front of the line with your vehicle, your children will be there waiting for you. So we'll have that whole system ready for you by the first day of school. Another great volunteer opportunity for those who've had that experience before. You know, again, I know exactly what needs to happen with all these operational issues, but there's only so many hours in the day, so the extra help that I can have would be totally appreciated.
Sir?
Has there been a decision whether this is going to be District 11 or District 49 school?
Yeah, so great question. So we are geographically located in District 11, and we will be a District 11 school. District 11 relinquished their chartering authority to the Charter School Institute, and so that's why we're working with Janet Denon right here on getting that charter from CSI, as it's called, the Charter School Institute. And we are on track to have that charter on the 18th of April.
I would just make one clarification. We're not officially a District 11 school. We're inside District 11 boundaries, but CSI, their boundary is the state boundary, so they're a state district. So we are a school in the district of CSI. Physically, we're located in District 11. We have no legal contractual relationship with 11. They've relinquished us over to CSI.
So follow-on question, what does that mean for the holiday breaks? Are we going to follow District 11, District 49, or some other?
So the question is, what about our holiday calendar for the school? And so we don't have to follow D11. The Charter School Institute does not have a calendar that we have to follow. And so we have created our own calendar that we have submitted to CSI as part of our charter application with them, because they have to see that we've got a calendar with the minimum number of instructional days and instructional hours, and that we're built in for the snow days and all those sorts of things. And we've done that, and we've got 178 days planned of instructional days for all the grades. And I talked on and on, I've lost it. Oh, the holidays. So the holidays, one of the great things about the holidays is that we know we have such a great connection to the military bases here that we are going to have all of the federal holidays off. And where we can, we know that, that there's going to be family days for the bases. And where we can, we will give Friday off as well when there is a fail. So I can't guarantee that. But I'm telling you, where there is, we're going to have a half day leading into one of the 3-day weekends, the federal holiday weekends, and maybe occasionally we'll have the full day off leading into the federal holiday weekends.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
Because I worked on the calendar. So the calendar actually, most schools have a lot of the same similar time off. So it's still the 2 weeks at Christmas, it's a week at Thanksgiving. The week at spring break follows the same, it follows a week that 49 has, so it's only 1 week instead of 2, but it's one of 49's weeks. And it's the same week that D11 has. So we try to mesh our calendar to kind of blend between the two calendars and still meet our days and hours requirements.
So our first day of school is August 14th. Is that August 14th?
Yes.
And our last day of school was like
May 25th, I think,
right before Memorial Day. So we didn't work in the 2 weeks in the fall and the 2 weeks in the spring. So yeah, and if you want to be on the calendar committee, to recommend the calendar to the board for year 2. Be sure and sign up.
Yeah.
So this young man right here.
Enrollment fee, I know some charter schools, supply and then some of the charter schools that we have, if there is a bus system, we end up having to pay for that bus system, because I know some charter schools do that.
Right, so the question was about fees, and yes, there will be some fees if your student is taking the bus. There will be some bus fees, and that's something that is standard in the community and in the state of Colorado. I know military families aren't always used to that. It was strange to me when I came in here. So there will be bus fees, and there will be some other fees, a technology fee for maintaining the Chromebooks that we give to all of the students, and some other fees for extracurricular activities. There will be fees, so that was something else that, as I've got teenagers of my own who do extracurricular activities, and I had to pay $700, and extra I have to pay over $2,000 for them to be in the marching band. And so there will be fees associated with the sports and the extracurricular activities as well, and those fees will be commensurate with the cost of that program.
I would add that we did work into the budget. We're calling them scholarships, but it's discounts for the families who qualify for free and reduced on the fees. So, we haven't finalized every detail there, but we should have those released in a few
My
minutes.
other question is, with discount fees, I have large family. We have 8 kids going, so I'll just...
That's
So we'll have a multi-child discount. So we'll have a multi-child discount.
13 and 1 on the way, so great school.
Wow.
Great school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to keep them all here. But I know some of the bus fees that we have ran into has been like $200 per child. So I was just wondering if these guys do somewhat work with large families. It's not like I'm trying to get holiday discounts or anything, but, just a simple question.
Yeah, so the question was, are we going to have group discounts for large families? Because he's growing his own football team now.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm sorry?
He's already got that. He's got 13 and 1 on the way.
13, yeah, so he's definitely, he can certainly field a football team, and probably all the other sports that are out there, but yes, that's something that we'll take a look at, and we'll offer some group discounts. Let me get a question from this young man in the red shirt here.
What about after school daycare and before school daycare, like the YMCA? What types of places? What types of places for after school and before school daycare would come to your guys' school? What types? Would there be a YMCA in the building, YMCA room, maybe like that, or would there be like you said, so basically anything on base?
So, great. Yeah, that's a great question. I'd love to get that question from the student. And so his question was about the before and after school care and what kind of programs are going to be involved. And he asked specifically a question about on base. And so let me answer that first, because that's the easiest to answer. Is I know that at Peterson there is the youth center has the school age care program, and at Schriever at their child development center they have a school age program there as well. And so those programs will stay there, and parents will have access to that, and we'll have shuttles to those locations, school buses to those locations. For our before and after school care here, we're still trying to figure out, and we're going to try to do a lot of that great exciting stuff that you were talking about. In fact, yesterday I talked to a friend of mine who's getting ready to retire from the Air Force, and he's certified. He's one of the 2 people in the state certified in child CrossFit. And so he wants to work something with CMA where he can come in and maybe be part of our after-school program and helping kids get fit through CrossFit. So I don't know for sure that we're going to do that, but that's just one of the things that we're exploring so that we can have some great, fun, educational, and whole person building activities And you know, I would guess that we're going to have some Civil Air Patrol activities in our before and after school programs as well, because a lot of their programs will lend themselves very well to those activities, and you'll have a lot of fun. What grade are you?
Fourth basketball.
You'll be a fifth grader for us this fall. Okay. That's
and
great.
Also, Miss Jennings, right?
Yes.
Will she be teaching 6th to 8th or 4th through?
Did I scare you the first day already?
Planning on that exactly.
So the question was, what will Miss Jennings be teaching? And I'm not sure Miss Jennings will be a teacher. She's one of our administrators, one of our school leaders, and so she's going to be working with the teachers rather than teaching a class herself.
Although she's got a great science background. She used to be a high school science teacher, and so she'll be doing some great science projects. I'll bet she'll join in your science class.
And it's true that she used to be a principal, correct?
A vice principal, yeah.
Vice principal, teacher.
Yeah.
Very talented.
Ma'am. A full-time nurse. The question was, will we have a full-time nurse on staff?
I can answer that.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I don't think any of the schools have a full-time, registered nurse, an RN. So we will have a nurse's aide, the training for the dispensing of medicine. We'll have a separate locked cabinet. We'll meet all the requirements the schools have to meet. And then we will be under the supervision of an RN. So there's some services out there. There's other charter schools, so we'll be joining in with somebody else's. And so the nurse will have responsibility for our program, the RN will, and we'll do site visits and check us and all that kind of stuff. But we'll follow all the health code regulations. We have a separate room for the nurses station, so they'll have cots, they have a dedicated bathroom, and all the lockable cabinets. Okay?
So I know we're approaching 7 o'clock. We're having a great session here. We are all glad to continue answering questions, but if you've got somewhere to go, go ahead and sneak out when you need to. But we'll stay here and answer questions as long as you've got them. So, who's next? Yes, sir.
So what sports do certain grades do?
What sports do
Second grade.
What sports do second graders get to do? That is a great question, and I don't know that I have anybody here that can answer that question for us.
Our athletic director's not here, but typically there's going to be the extracurricular activities. There'll be what they call intramural. So that could be where some of the second graders or second and third grade mix are playing other second and third graders on Saturdays. You have some competitions sometimes. It's not all year round, but typically we would set up something like that. And then the other type of extracurricular activities will be a drama program. So if you like to get up on stage and perform, there'll be a drama teacher who will be having a drama program. And when you have a K through 12 program, it's really exciting because you get the older kids who do a lot of the heavy lifting of the drama program, but the little kids get to participate. And so sometimes the drama program might be like Wizard of Oz, and all the little kids get to be the Munchkins, or they might be, Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory might be the play, and again, the kids are there supporting roles and everything. So there'll be some different, and then there'll be musical performances also that might be there. So a lot of opportunities. It won't be every week though.
What sports do you want us to have for second graders?
Soccer.
Soccer. Okay, big soccer player. All right. I'll get that word to Coach Bain and see what we can do. Okay, sir.
What other specials are you guys going to be offering? Music, art?
Yeah, art, music, PE, Spanish will be the 4 for elementary. They'll have a rotation through art, music, PE, Spanish. And then basically those will be the electives for middle school, high school. We expect to have a math elective and a science elective. We don't know which one yet until we hire the math and science teachers, but it may be like an astronomy science class, geology, marine biology. We'll be offering some other electives in the STEM areas. Technology would be the elective beginning at middle school and above. So they'll be like the programming type of technology classes. Our art and music will definitely be high-tech. So those classes will have media, high-tech components. So it's in art, they may have some traditional art, and they may also have digital art. They should have both in an art class.
One last one, sorry. Is the flight training going to be programmed into an elective in actual school, or is that extracurricular activities?
Okay, through the membership in the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Program, you will have full access to all the flight training programs.
Is that going to be like a class at school?
Is it built into the curriculum, or is it
Yes.
like after school?
Yes, we will have an aerospace education instructor, and then from there, if a young person's interested in the private pilot certification program, we do have arrangements with Meadow Lake Airport, in which ground school and the flight training for that certification will be made available. But in-house, we offer a credit course, 4-credit course in aerospace education, and then of course we have orientation flights that are available to any cadet that is enrolled in the program, and basically that's usually held on a Saturday, so parents know ahead of time to plan for that, and that will be orientation flights in Cessna 172 and also glider, and then we'll be introducing the higher.
Okay, she couldn't hear. Can you repeat somebody?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So let me just, the question was about all the things that Civil Air Patrol has to offer, the flight training and things like that, will that be part of the class curriculum? And for the Civil Air Patrol has an aerospace education part of the curriculum, and then when you talk about the flight training and the balloon piloting and things like that, those are things that, like, the flight training is typically arranged on a Saturday. Sometimes they'll do flights. My son has had one flight out of here. He's had a couple of flights out of Centennial Airport, and those are always arranged on a Saturday and far enough in advance that the parents get to coordinate on that and approve the date and the time. Can I answer that correctly?
Yes, and I just would like to add that making arrangements with the Experimental Aircraft Association, we have a local chapter out at Meadow Lake Airport in order for our elementary age students to be able to have an orientation flight. And so that's always exciting for kids. So this will be for all the ages. There'll be opportunities to have an opportunity to fly. It's pretty awesome.
Sure.
Two questions. First question, you guys have a program where parents can monitor and track the child's progress in terms of grades? Because there's a gap, like with my child going to school right now, is they always put the assignments that's been assigned there, but I don't know, forecasting, way ahead, what assignments are due if I get my kid to start working, ahead of the program. A lot of times it'll be posted, and it's like, well, it seemed like it just got, turned in, assigned, or what have you, but I never understand why can't we get like a syllabus to some nature of that effect, right? So that's the first question.
So yeah, so the question was for what's posted online, what will be posted online to help the parents track assignments and look at the syllabus and into the future, so they know what assignments are coming down the road. And I'm going to ask Angela to answer that question for us.
So there's a couple of different things. In the secondary level, so 6 through 9, all of those classes will have a syllabus that the kids will be sent home with, which will let you know, at least in a quarterly basis, the topics and things that they're studying. Usually when teachers put into, and I will make sure that when we do our training and get our programs and stuff, this happens, they should be putting in, when they put in the assignment into the grade book for the teachers to access, the parents to access and look at, that they should be putting in the assignment and what the due date is. And so that way you can see this is the assignment. So even if they post an assignment knowing that they're going to have students do it on April 13th, it should say April 13th, so you know that it's not even due till then. Does that make sense?
I can add a little bit more from what I've been putting in the budget and my past experience. Is the Power School is the system we're going to. It has the parent login. You can see your kids' grades, and that's what you're talking about. where you see it kind of after the fact, right? So we also have a learning management system. All of the textbooks are online, in addition to having paper-based in the one set in the classroom is paper-based. But as part of that, even though so systems aren't as great as they're going to be 10 years from now, but you could use your students' login to see sequentially what's coming up next, or what they're working on today. So you could actually see it and see their individual progress. But you have to go in as the student. They don't have a system in that area, like they do in Power School and the student information systems, where you can go in and see their grades, their attendance, anything else, report cards.
Second question was, this is more for the high school, 9th grade, moving forward. I know when I was in high school, you typically, every year you try to, or quarter or semester, you would update your own classes, what you want to take or whatnot. Now, sometimes, if you don't have a good counselor, you could be sent in the wrong direction, and you're not going to graduate because you didn't meet all the criteria to graduate on time. So, is there going to be like good counselors, or do parents really need to be like knocking on the door and say, listen, I want to make sure my kid's taking the right classes, or is that the power given to the child to pick classes, or they're going to be parent involvement?
The nice thing is...
let me just repeat, just to repeat the question for everybody. The question was about our guidance counselors and helping the high school students to complete their schedule, their desired schedule for the upcoming year, and making sure that they meet all the requirements and not just leave it up to the students. And I've got a student of my own who's got some challenges in that area, and Andrew's going to answer that question.
So, the nice thing about Power School is that it's got a really great feature where we can actually enter in graduation requirements. So as students complete classes at the semester level and the grades go in, we can see, oh, they're missing second semester of 9th grade English, and then we can have them repeat that or put that back in. Because I have been in that situation before where you get a kid who needs 2.5 years of English, but man, they've got a lot of PE. And so, yeah, it's definitely a problem. And that's a training issue and a policy issue that the school needs to follow. And that is having those counselors check that graduation progress screen in Power School with their students to make sure that what they're scheduled for is what they actually need, and that they're not overextending in one area and lacking in another.
And again, I can have everything as a budget answer, right? So over time, we're going to have multiple counselors at the school. I think I've got at least 2 by the second or third year. The first year, we weren't able to work in a full-time counselor, so it will be this team that will be doing the college counseling. But let me tell you a little bit about my experience. So I indicated at the beginning when I introduced myself that it's my youngest daughter who's the architect, and the counselor we had at our charter school, and this will be our focus, is an academic counselor about college counseling. Yes, there are social issues, and I know a lot of the public schools, the counselors spend 99% of their time dealing with social issues and 1% dealing with the planning for college. We will have a planning for college counselor. But so in my daughter's situation, we had no friends who were architects. Nobody in our family was an architect. But based upon the evaluation of her strengths, interests, it came back as that was the #1 career for her. She just loves it. She's, and everything. Well, so the counselor, to my wife's chagrin, suggested some out-of-state colleges that had very high ranked in architecture programs, and for different reasons. So we did a visit. She set up, and so we took her and visited several of the campuses in the same week, and amazingly, and it was well planned out, the last one we visited was the one my daughter loved, and the counselor knew that, and therefore had her go see these others that she knew weren't quite going to be as interesting or as exciting for her, knowing that the last one was going to be the one she would. It was Auburn University. Go Tigers, but it's not Tigers, it's War Eagle. But anyway, so she very successful. So we will have an academic counselor. The first year we don't have a full-time counselor, so we will be working with a consultant who helps us, and we will be the team that will be counseling the kids about college plans. We will start early, 7th grade, in helping them start their plans for, and even before that, but in their plans for college.
And if I get the great ending to that story is that his daughter is one of the architects who is designing the interior of our school. right now. She's on the Hollis and Miller team.
Yeah.
And so that's great. Do you want to?
If you don't mind, I would just like to add another component. Because this is a military school, you have a commandant that is an additional person that will be very much involved in the life of every student. And that is, there's going to be a tremendous amount of counseling, one-on-one, and talking to that student about what are you interested in, what are you passionate about, how are you keeping on track, what are your goals, your aspirations. And so this is an additional adult in that young person's life to ensure that there's no gaps, that we're going to have a very seamless operation here for his good character, his or her good character, academics, and well-being overall.
And Ken just reminded me, for schools that have a large military population, the Department of Defense offers an MFLAC, a Military Family and Life Counselor, and so Peterson has already submitted for us to get an MFLAC here at our school. So that's one additional counselor who specializes in the needs of the military student. So, sir.
Yeah, you've got, you're going to have a number of students that are on free and reduced lunch. You also have a very heavily IT-based curriculum. Those are at odds. Is the school going to be able to do anything to support those families that can't afford their own computer systems or a fast enough internet connection? Right now,